And as I walk through the valley of death, my voice echoes out through the night. Lord, Lord, whatever your reason, don't be the reason right.
Hello YouTube, it's me again. I'm going to move the camera back a little. Better over here. Yeah, someone on my one of my YouTube subs commented that my intro is cool because my father has a really good voice. Well, my father, growing up, was always singing. He was known for at my high school and everywhere that he went. He used to sing House of the Rising Sun. If you go on YouTube and look up Ronald Frosty Deer, I think there's a video. If I upload it, or my brother, there's a video of him singing House of the Rising Sun that I uploaded, which is pretty cool. I think one of them is that the day after I got married. He died the year later. But yeah, I remember growing up in the old motorcycle shop. They'd be practicing the band and they'd sing the song Cocaine and all these other old songs I don't remember. They were a good band. They were really good. We had an old record. We used to have an old album, a white album, and a lot of the songs I use are on my intros. Thankfully, my father left. He left me a whole lot of memories, and I can always remember his voice because I put his song on YouTube. I made a video from it, and in my channel there's a video of one of his songs. There's multiple pieces of his music, and it's just nice to hear. I mean, I forget what he sounds like, and it's nice like when you have a relative who passed away and you're like, I remember what they sound like, but I can't remember. Like you haven't heard them in a while, and most people don't. Like nowadays, people have like video of stuff, but I mean, we didn't have like when I was a kid, someone died and nobody would like. Never on video. There was no videotape, and then later on, it's nice to hear their voice. And so it's like I sit in my car, I loaded MP3s on there, and I'll play songs, because we used to always drive everywhere and go. And I think Arco said, yeah, he's got a really nice voice, and it was just fun because I wish I'd start using. I wish I had started doing YouTube videos like, I don't know, 8 years ago. It would have been fun because my father used to do karaoke. He had all the karaoke equipment, and he always wanted me to go to the house and record it. And I'm like, I never had time. I was doing all my shit, like dumb stuff, and I don't regret not going there, but I wish I had. I wish I spent more time with him. But we spent 45 years of my life. I was lucky to have a father for 45, I think, years. I think he died when I was 45 years old, 4 years ago. So I was lucky. A lot of people, don't get a father for very long. So, and we spent plenty of time riding to Vermont, going to the VA hospital. I went to New Orleans with him. We drove. We got bored 2 days into it and drove from New Orleans to Pensacola, Florida, and back. Went to the USS Alabama. We went to Syracuse, New York together. We went to the Big Easy Fair in Massachusetts, which sucked. I don't know. It was like all this hype. Yeah, the Big E. We get there, like that's it. That's all there is. It's boring. We used to go to the Syracuse Fair every year. Go there and be like, okay, we're here. Let's go home. Like it was like, why did we come here? I'd go shopping. I'd buy a few things, and we drove to was it Syracuse? No, we drove to Bradley's Military in Watertown, New York. And on our way there, we stopped, and there was the Amish were selling cookies. And he's like, I don't know if I should get some cookies. I'm like, just get some. Like, you're in the car, we're driving 4 hours, get some cookies. We picked up some cookies, and like 3 miles down the road, he says to me, I should have bought them all. Those are the best damn cookies ever. And it was funny because every time I go, drive by a little Amish or Mennonite stand on the side of the road, I just think of like, if they have cookies, I'm buying all the cookies. But I tell people I don't mourn his death anymore. I mean, obviously, I'm sad. My father died, died of horrible fucking death in the hospital with cancer. I mean, I tell everybody he didn't die of cancer. He died of like starvation because of fucking pain meds. I mean, it's just a sick way to go. But I don't mourn him. I mean, I tell everybody I celebrate him. Because everything I do here, like my father used to work with all kinds of tools and stuff. I have a couple of his tools. I have his, I call it the, the death, the table saw of death. Because I'm guessing when he bought the table saw in 1984, yeah, when our house burned down, I know, knowing what I know now, we didn't have a lot of he didn't have a lot of money. I was like what, 1984. I was like 12 maybe. I almost burnt alive in the house. They were gonna go to Plattsburgh and leave me home to sleep in for the day. Luckily, somebody went on the porch. But anyway, to make a long story short, I'm assuming he didn't have a lot of money, so he bought the cheapest table saw back then. I found out it was the cheapest table saw in the world when someone posted on online the exact same table saw. It's a Rockwell table saw, and somebody posted that was like the most cheapest table saw ever made. Like it was just, it's got like zero features on and off and a little bar, and it's it's the table saw I have, and it's the one I use. I've almost sliced my finger off, and I tripped and almost fell right on top of it one time. I was like this close to having it embedded in my chest. I have his old router. It's an old Craftsman router, which it's got a one little problem that you put a bit in it, it just doesn't want to come out ever. Every bit I've put in it goes in fine. Oil the thing up, tighten the little screw on it, unloosen the screw, and the bit just never wants to come out. It's like it's got the jaws of death in it. But no, he was known for doing all. He was in the Marines. He was a carpenter, a welder, a window washer, owned a motorcycle shop, started a computer business, started the first rock band in our town. Like I can go on and on for like all week here. He was like the coolest dad. Did everything, and I don't remember a lot. I don't remember a lot of super details. I just remember a few things, and I remember he was always working. It was work, doing stuff and working, and he used to. I remember he told me one time. He says, I'm sorry I wasn't always there. I'm like, I never noticed. Fuck, you're a kid. Like, you're too busy in your own life. And later on, we spent hours and hours, and he was always like, are you sure you're running that business right? Are you sure you're making money? I'd go pick up like $20,000 worth of coffee over the border. He'd be like, are you sure you're pricing it right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I just got screwed a few times. But it was he loved to sing. And I remember even in the hospital, he tried to sing, and it was a sad sight. So yeah, if you're wondering about the my intro and the last pictures, I just keep throwing pictures up there, and dedicated to my dad, just to remember him, and I like listen to his voice when I get bored and like miss him. I mean, obviously I miss him. I'm not like crying and sad. I don't have time to be crying and sad. He always told me. He used to say, if you're gonna do something, do it the right way. Don't do it half-ass. And I'll admit it, we all do things half-ass sometimes. But a lot of times, if I'm doing something, I like to do it properly, not like some bullshit like okay, I'll just tack weld the thing or whatever. And I remember when I first bought a welder, he was like, "What are you buying a welder for?" I'm like, duh. I want to learn how to weld. What do you want to learn to weld for? I'm like, because I always wanted to make a go-kart. And then the biggest compliment was he needed his lawnmower welded. Lawnmower. Thing cracked right down the bed there. And it was funny because he's like, here, can you weld it? I cleaned it all off. There's a big crack. I didn't know at the time to drill the end of the crack out with a drill. I seam welded the whole thing. I ground it all down, flipped it over, cleaned it all, seam welded the other side. I primed, I painted it yellow. It was like, that's pretty good. Did a pretty good job. So when my father, the welding teacher, tells his son that he didn't really want to like get a job welding or doing all this hard work that he grew up doing, says, hey, he did a pretty good job welding. It's kind of like my little compliment. Anyway, this video is getting long. They take forever to upload, so I'm gonna end it here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff.